Hello, I'm Charles Coves, Australasia's passion provocateur. Welcome to this week's episode of the Charles Coves Show. In this week's episode, I urge you, I ask you, I provoke you to raise your consciousness around your habits. Raise your awareness around your habits. Are they making you or are they breaking you? How conscious are you about your habits? If I say to you, what are your habits? Can you tell me? Great habits enable you to become all that you dream of, to build the life of your dreams. So it's wakey time. Stick around, I'll give you some ideas for some new great habits. This weekly show is founded on the formula SA plus P equals S. Self-awareness plus passion equals success. Your self-awareness plus your passion will give you your success. Since 1993, when I left my successful legal career to become Australasia's passion provocateur, I have inspired, educated, provoked audiences and individuals and teams from all walks of business to discover, access, harness passion to live the lives that they want, to live extraordinary lives. Extraordinary. Why extraordinary? Because most people are not passionate. When you are passionate, you are above ordinary. I have implemented this passion journey via speeches, via workshops, as a coach with teams, as an executive coach. And I've also done it through my books and all my writings. Passionate people produce passionate performance. I can confidently say to you that the ideas that I have shared with people over the last 28 years make a significant positive impact. So this show is designed to make a significant positive impact on your life. This show is also guided by Socrates' famous saying, the unexamined life is not worth living. So I hope each week, whether you're watching this show or whether you're listening as a podcast, it provokes you to keep examining your life, to keep examining what you do, how you think, how you control, how you feel. You can see I'm wearing my red jacket. Red is the colour of passion. I wear red so that it sticks in your mind, number one, that I'm the passion provocateur, but number two, that when you see red on the streets, in cars, in houses, in buildings, then you think about passion and you provoke yourself with the question, am I following my passion? Each week I explore one big idea. Why one? Because too many ideas confuse us. I hope each week that one idea you go, hey, that's worth pursuing, that's worth exploring. I also share with you some resources to help you implement that idea. A book, a song, a quote, a spiritual tip, a health tip, and some humour. Life is definitely not meant to be totally serious. I do subscribe to the view that laughter is the best medicine, and that's why I'm chairman of the Australian Institute of Comedy and on the board of the Australian Cartoon Museum. This show is not politically correct. I have no desire to be politically correct, and this show also subscribes to useful addictions such as my addiction for yummy coffee. This show also subscribes to the view that we have a soul, a spirit, a heart, that we are spiritual beings. We have a human spirit, much more than your mind. Your spirit is an amazing resource. And your spirit, your soul, your heart, that's where your passion comes from. So, what's happened in the last week since the previous episode? And this is episode 68. How amazing is that? 68 weekly episodes. Pretty amazing. Well, in Victoria, we have lockdown number 5, allegedly for 5 days. Why? because a couple of people have been tested positive with coronavirus. It is outrageous. It is wrong. I say it's criminal. It is contrary to law and criminal in its neglect of Victorians to shut down a whole state for a tiny number of cases. And why would you do that? The thinking is totally flawed. I reject the thinking of the Victorian governments, of the Australian governments, of this whole movement to treat this COVID-19 as some deadly disease that's going to wipe out large numbers of people. It is wiping out large numbers of people. The lockdowns, the decisions of government are wiping out large numbers of small to medium enterprises. And I urge you to look around and look at the people who are suffering, because 60% of the population in Australia are not suffering. They are public servants. They are politicians. They are big business. The people around you. Dear listener, dear viewer, think about that. Think about the price. And whilst you might be okay, what's happening is these government decisions, these shocking government decisions, are dramatically impacting on the future for your children, for your grandchildren. So don't you sit around thinking, I'm okay, so I'm not going to worry about it. If you think what's happening is wrong, but you're not willing to do anything, your descendants will pay a price. And they will also pay a price because of this ridiculous idea of giving away our freedom because we're scared of a virus. What bullshit. The other interesting stuff that's happening during the week is the last day of the Tour de France today as I'm recording this show. And the great news is that Ben O'Connor, as you all know, I'm a mad cyclist, and I've ridden in the Alps in France some 3 years ago. A magnificent experience. And having ridden in France, it makes the appreciation of that geography, of the roads, so much more enjoyable. Ben O'Connor from Perth looks like he's going to finish 4th after the time trial with just the last stage to go. Great effort. The British Open golf is on, and the lesson available to you from golf is that there were 144 starters. After 2 days, they reduced it down to 60 plus ties. The difference between making the weekend and not making it is such a tiny, tiny margin. It is heartbreaking for so many golfers. And today's show and this show is about tiny little things can make a massive difference in your life. That's how I look on golf, that it really is a metaphor for life. The other issues that are in the news, and I urge you to pay attention to them. Don't ignore them, because this is how these crazy ideas get hold, because sensible people don't push back against them. Cancel culture, tearing down statues of the past. You see, there's a beautiful principle that says you might not like history, but you don't own history. You don't have the right to destroy history. It exists. And so cancel culture, which is trying to wipe out history, is a mad idea, as is Black Lives Matter, as is the whole wokeness movement, almost in its entirety. If you don't push back against this nonsense because you go, well, today it's not affecting me, tomorrow it will. Tomorrow or next decade, it will dramatically impact on your descendants. I observe these movements. I push back against them in this show, in my writings. I urge you to think about, do you think this is a good idea? Also, the whole transgender nonsense of men claiming to be women, wanting to be women, and then competing against women in the Olympics. Ridiculous. Absolute ridiculous. And if, as a matter of science, you can say that you're not a man anymore but a woman and you're going to weightlifting, science has ceased to have any meaning. The other crucial element in our humanity that is also relevant to the coronavirus is that the medical profession globally, you can check this if you like, understands less than 5%, in its entirety, less than 5% of the ways that our bodies function. Do you know that? In other words, doctors who flounce around saying we know it all, they are liars. They do not know anything like it all. They know less than 5%. This is the whole medical profession, big pharma. And so they're pretending they know, but they actually don't. And that's why I talk about health in this show, and that's why I urge you to take responsibility for your health. Because you cannot rely on the medical profession because they know so little. I remember looking, just to reinforce this idea of how much we do know, I remember looking at an X-ray of a tooth showing the extraordinary complexity of the nerve structure in a tooth. And I've had a root canal done, and I thought there were only 3 nerves in it. There are hundreds of nerves in each tooth. You look at this incredible complexity, and it helps you to wake up to the realization that we are human beings bumbling along in an amazing universe, and anybody who says they know it all is simply ignorant. Don't be ignorant by saying you know it all. And that's very relevant to when we get to the big idea this week. Before I get to the big idea, I remind you to visit our websites, covest.com, charlescovest.com. Subscribe to this podcast, subscribe to the YouTube by clicking the bell down below. If you enjoy this show, please share it amongst your family, friends, and colleagues. Subscribe to Passion Points to Ponder, and if you would like the Self-Awareness and Passion Quest Manifesto, please send us an email to charles@covest.com. I'll be delighted to send it to you. That manifesto alone is capable of inspiring you to change your life in meaningful, tiny ways that will take you on a whole new trajectory. So, to our big idea. This coffee. Are your habits making you or breaking you? Habits are wonderful things. Habits mean you don't have to make decisions. Habits mean you behave in predictable ways where conscious thought does not need to happen. It all happens subconsciously. However, your habits can be disastrous. Habits come about because of the way your mind works, your brain and your mind. The brain is the hardware, your mind is the software. Your mind, your subconscious mind, is designed to preserve you, to protect you, and is designed to help you avoid wasting energy. So as soon as your mind can see a pattern that will save you time, it helps you form this habit, like a rut in the road. And so you don't have to think about that anymore. You don't have to use precious energy consciously thinking about what you're going to do. That's what its job is. Your subconscious mind is here to preserve you. By the way, from previous episodes, you will know that your subconscious mind can also totally delude you and totally block you from your goals because of your past experiences. We're not going there now, but those past experiences have been the way in which your habits were created. Wonderful resource until your habits are disastrous. So I urge you to become conscious of your habits. It's wakey time. What are your habits? Can you describe your habits to me? Start thinking about that. I've been having a number of conversations with coaching clients about habits I have over the years, and each time I do, it makes me become consciously aware of my habits. So the starting point is to say, what are my habits? Are they making me or breaking me? What do I want to become? What do I want to achieve? What goals do I have? And then the third step is, what habits do I need to let go of? Or what new habits do I need to embrace so that I can become what I want to become. And I use that word in its total meaning, that becoming who you want to be includes achievement of your goals. To make this easier for you in your thinking process, let's go through the mind, body, spirit process. I use that in goal setting, have mental goals, have physical goals, have spiritual goals. Well, let's go through what type of habits you might have now that are not serving you in the areas of mind, body, spirit. I'll give you 3 of each. So at a mental level, your habit might be to have a closed mind. It might be to have a messy life where your habit is to never put anything away. Or it might be that mentally you have no willpower, that you make a decision and you are unable to carry through. Your habit is 0 or very low willpower. At a physical level for your body, your habit might be no exercise. Your habit might be too much TV, lounging in front of the TV on the couch, getting more and more tired because all you're doing is sitting there watching TV. It will destroy your life. And the third bad habit is physically eating crap. When I say crap, I mean stuff that is not healthy and nutritious. And at a spiritual level, your habits that might not be taking you where you want to go, highly unlikely to be taking you where you want to go, is that you are cynical about everything. Cynical, not skeptical, cynical. At a spiritual level, you don't help anybody. Friends come to you, you don't help them. That's your habit. No, I'm not going to help other people. They don't help me. I'm not going to help them. And you're not a member of any community organisation. You are not making a contribution to your community. That's a habit, probably because you're spending too much time in front of the TV. So now I know they're provocative statements, but they're designed to make you think about, gosh, what are my habits? So then, what do you want to become? What are your goals? What new habits, consciously adopted, will help you to become who you want to become? I'll give you 9 examples. Mental, physical, spiritual, mind, body, spirit. On the mental side, new habits would include a reading process, a skill development process. For example, strategic thinking. You can learn that skill. There are so many online programs that if you spent 15 minutes a day for 1 year, you would have done 90 hours of learning about a particular topic. You would, within 2 years, become one of the very experts in that particular topic. Another mental habit would be planning your life. Create a new habit of the way you plan what you're going to do each day, each week, each month. For your body, your new habits can be around your sleep. A habit of when you go to bed, when you get up in the morning. A new habit around your alcohol consumption. A new habit around your exercise regime. When you make it a habit, as I have since I was 10, for over 50 years. I've obviously made coffee a habit, although I wonder if that's a habit or an addiction. You see, an addiction, quite an interesting conversation. I've had this. I said, I'm not addicted, I just need it. Haha. So, the exercise habit. You get into the habit, you do the exercise like I have. I train almost every day. So for the last 35 years at least, when I've been competing in triathlons, it's been at least 6 days a week for 35 years. And it's why I'm able to work 70 hours a week. At a spiritual level, new habits would relate to meditation. Meditation at a particular time. Many people recommend first thing in the morning, so you set your day up. That becomes a habit. Going to church or going to a spiritual environment where you stop being so self-centered and become outer-focused. And the third habit could be to join an organisation like Rotary, like Lions clubs that meet weekly, and they meet weekly because you get into the habit. And many members of those service clubs that do wonderful work are just beautiful places where people get into the habit of being of service. So I hope I've provoked you to think about what your current habits are and what they might need to be. If you want one-on-one assistance with that, get in touch. I'm happy to help you. The benefit of identifying these habits is that you make less decisions. You wake up in the morning, you don't have to make decisions. You've identified the habits that you want, you then implement those habits. Habits save you time and energy and help you on your journey to becoming who you want to become. And when you think back how quickly the last 5 years went, the last decade went, just imagine if you started with habits that make you rather than break you, what you would be in 10 years' time. That's an amazing, exciting vision. I urge you to embrace the idea, to wake up, to stop deluding yourself that you're not capable of achieving what you want to become. And if you need help in the design and implementation of habits, that's why I'm here, that's why other coaches are here. And coming back to the British Open, the difference between the winners of the major tournaments in golf or tennis are always those who have coaches that help them identify the tiny little changes that are going to enable them to win rather than coming 10th. So, our resources. The song for this week, of course, is Billy Fields' Can't Help Myself, Bad Habits, Well I'm Running Wild, Lost Control. Now the fourth verse of this song is very powerful. When I get the urge, I just got to splurge. I'm a slave to all my desires. Well, I'm in a mess because I can't repress all of these bad habits. And I say to you that one of the reasons why bad habits trap us is because we don't have a big enough vision of our life, big enough reason to achieve our goals. And so our bad habits trap us and break us. If you have a big enough why for your goals, you will be able to get out of the quicksand of bad habits. My quote this week, in fact, comes off Julie's wall from Mahatma Gandhi. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your destiny. Your habits are such a crucial element to the future that you are creating. The book this week, wonderful book, renowned around the world, Atomic Habits, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones, by James Clear. I recommend it because the work I've been doing for the last 28 years as a passion provocateur is certainly consistent with James Clear's book on atomic habits. My spiritual tip is identify one new spiritual habit. And my health tip is to identify consciously and write down one new health habit, a habit that will make you healthier. And time for some humour. And you'll be pleased to know I found a joke about humour. Sam and Sadie were a happy Jewish couple. They'd been married for 40 years. And on their 40th anniversary, Sadie said to Sam, I want to come and show you something. They get in the car and they drive into the city and they stop in front of a 20-story building, commercial building. And Sadie says, Sam, here's your 40th wedding anniversary present. And Sam says, what are you talking about, Sadie? And she says, this building. This is ours. This is my present to you, that we are joint owners of this amazing building. Sam says, where did you get the money to do this? Sadie says, well, over our marriage, every time you made love to me, I put some money into a tin. I made a habit of putting, every time we made love, some money into a tin. And I invested in a small property and then a bigger property, and occasionally we'd make love, I'd put some more money in, and lo and behold, after 40 years of marriage, here it is. Sam says to Sadie, Sadie, if I'd have known you were such a good businesswoman, I would have given you all my business. Well, a bit outrageous, so be it. I'm designed to be provocative, I'm a passionate provocateur. So if my jokes don't offend somebody, then I'm really missing the mark somewhere, aren't I? So think about today's big idea. Think about habits. Carry around a card in your pocket that says, what are my habits? I know it can make a massive difference to your life. I again invite you to visit our websites, covest.com for corporate programs, for public programs, and then charlescovest.com for details of the self-awareness and passion quest. You can buy my books, Passionate People Produce Passionate Performance, on either of those websites. Those books would make great gifts. If you're stuck for a gift, get a copy of the book, give it to somebody, I'll even autograph it. There are lots of other resources on those websites. If you enjoy this show, please share it, please subscribe, and until next week, may your life be full of passion, full of challenge, and full of increasing awareness around how you behave, how your habits help you live your life, and you raise your awareness of whether those habits are making you or breaking you. I hope I've helped you become a little more aware of the genius that is inside you, and some steps to letting that genius out so that you can live the life that you have always dreamed about. Have a great week. See you next week. Thanks for being with us. Bye.